Good evening, everyone. It's Caroline here, and welcome to the Flower of Life evening that we're going to do. Petals of the Heart, which are like the Flower of Life. So as always, just let me know if you can hear me, how things are doing. Okay, some folks are jumping in. Oh, thank you, Tracy. Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for spending this time with me. I'm really looking forward to this meditation and guided experience, and being able to share with you a little bit about how, like, the mechanism of the heart chakra works. It's an interesting center where, right, we have the 7 centers on the body. We have the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th chakras on the body, as well as the soul light, the ba, foot above the body, foot above the head. And what makes the heart center so unique is it has actual petals and actual caverns isn't the right word, chambers of the heart. And so Egyptian to Tibetan to Peruvian to the Indian Vedic system and the chakra system, the energy, and then also Western esoteric practices all speak to the heart, and then Christian mysticism. So Saint Teresa of Avila talked about the interior castle. Carolyn Mace wrote a beautiful book about this, and then Interior Castle by Saint Teresa of Avila, and it all talks about these chambers of the heart. And what we're going to look at today is how that actually shows up on the energetic body and in the anatomy of it. So what I have found in myself and my practice over the last many years is, especially when we have injuries to the heart, we experience loss, we experience grief, we experience shock. And even though the shock does register in the 3rd center in the emotional body, it registers in the heart, but it can your shock can get stuck on a certain layer of the energy field. And so the energetic work, where a lot of this has come from, is esoteric healing. And my teacher, Dr. Barb Briner, up in Michigan, the most brilliant human, one of the most brilliant humans I've ever met. And she is such a seer and sage, and she sat with these texts, and she sat with these different texts from different traditions, and she is a master at bringing forth the energetic anatomy of the high spirit, so like the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th chakras, the petals of the heart. And so some of what I'm speaking of has to do directly from my teachings with her, so I just want to make sure to credit her. She's an amazing woman. Hi everyone, welcome. And so when we get hit in the heart, so to speak, when we experience loss, and this also includes from a different lifetime, and we've worked it on the psychological level, we've worked it on the emotional level, but there's something that you can feel like you've worked through something, and then you get a text from somebody, or you see something that reminds you, a smell that reminds you of a certain thing, and it just brings it right back up, that it, like, as if it was yesterday. Now, there's a difference between bringing something back around because another layer needs to be healed, or bringing something back around and you feel that actual trauma. Do you know what I mean? There's like layers, and then there's actually getting stuck back into that trauma. Or there's phobias, right? So we have, like, we can feel anxiety in our heart over something we don't understand. I had a friend that was afraid to fly, and would get anxiety in her heart. And I mean, like, no logical reason for the level of anxiety. And we did work together, and it was a past life where she had fallen. Someone had pushed her off a cliff, actually. And she had fallen, and this fear of like just it lodged, and that's where that trauma from that past life lodged in her heart center. And so it was actually through working through the petals of the heart that really helped clear it. And now, I mean, she still doesn't love to fly, but she'll do it. Like she literally would not actually get on a plane for a long time, and now she does. She doesn't love it, but she's able to function in that way. So, there's different layers that we can register things in the heart center. And, we can go into working with the heart on the level that we know, but it's really helpful to then invoke all the layers of the energy field within the heart center to cover all of our bases. So we're going to be guided, or I'll be guiding you through a meditation to look at the different layers of the heart and the petals of the heart and the different layers of the energy field. And then we'll be bringing in the divine light to bring it to balance. Now, of course, if you have been like working with something for a long time, it might not all of a sudden go away in one meditation, but to be aware that this is a really important piece of our energy anatomy, and that you might already be getting insight right now of like, oh, okay, that might be what's going on. I'm not sure. Or, oh, that makes sense. You'll just by what I'm speaking about, there'll be either a resonance of inclination, and if that comes up, then that's probably what's going on. Just gonna pause. So this is true for so much of working in the energy realms. What I have seen so much in my practice as an energy healer for over 15, 16, getting up to 20 years is, we can go at something, and we can go to therapy, or we can do the things, and if we haven't addressed where the blueprint, where that seed is on the specific energy body that it is located on, we can just get in the loop. So that's true too. Like let's say anger. And, anger is associated with the liver, and you can like do the work. But if that anger is actually the seed of a wound from that anger is in the mental body, and we've been doing all this emotional work and trying to get out of therapy wise, this and that, but it's literally like a blip in the mental. So we're not trained in the West, we're really in modern world at all, to really look at our anatomy that extends past our physical body, and that these things that we can loop about for years can also just be getting more specific within the energy field. Does that make sense? I'm sure it makes sense. So but if it doesn't, let me know for sure. And so this goes for so many different issues that I see with people. And sometimes when we get a more broad aspect of energy healing, and we can get energy, and we're receiving energy, but we're not sure why it's not moving. It's sometimes we can actually be fueling that pattern with getting energy work if it's not working with specifics in the energy body. I've seen that too, and not to knock any other different modalities, but when we're getting like more of a broad sense of energy, we can actually be feeding the thing that's going on, versus going in, does actually energy need to retract from that thing? Does it need to be added? So, it's energy work is it's something to be aware of, when you are working with something extensively and not feeling that shift, to pause and see, like, is this getting at the detail of it? So that's also too, like with working with the petals of the heart versus just in a broader heart center level, we're being able to get more specific, and so you'll be able to have more specific results, right? It's the difference between going to like a general practitioner of something and then going like, oh, I need to go to someone who their whole life they have studied the like neuroanatomy of X, Y, and Z, right? So it's that generalized versus getting really specific. And sometimes generalized works, and we can receive the energy work, and we can, have more of a broader I don't want to name any energy modalities because I don't want to knock anything. But, you know, like when we get a more broad energy healing, you know, I see this where it's like people bring in light, and it's, you know, I'm not in the camp that you can just bring in more light and that thing will go away. I think it takes both. You have to look at the shadow, you have to look at the wounding, you have to look at that specific seed of consciousness as well as bring in the light. So that's just where I've seen huge results and people considered like miracle healing when you look at both. You bring in the light, but you also get really laser specific on looking at the shadow part, looking at the wound, looking at that specific thing, whatever that thing is. So when working with the heart is one of the more complex chakra centers out of all the 7 centers on the body. They get more complex when you get above the body, but on the body, it's one of the more complex centers. And so seers and visionary artists, like when they draw the heart center, it is more detailed. There's more layering, so to speak. So that is why we're doing what we're doing. So in just a moment, we're going to go into a meditation. So as always, get comfy. You can drink a glass of water or a sip of water and let yourself just start to sink back into your body. And you can either lay down for this or you can stay seated up. I just ask that if you lay down that you don't fall asleep. And you want your spine straight because you want the energy to be able to move. Okay, everyone. So closing the eyes, taking a couple deep breaths, maybe sighing and letting yourself relax into the moment. With each inhalation, you're summoning yourself to be present. On the exhalation, letting yourself fall back into your body. Being forward vision animals, having the eyes just on the front, we tend to jump out of energetically our body into the front side of our body. So we're just going to lean back into our skin. Feeling the weight of your body on the earth. Whether that's sitting in a chair, on the floor, on the couch. Good. And even any of the lighting up your system did, just by hearing all of that, you can just let that go with each breath. For those who are new and jumping on, you'll hear me make noises, snap, burp, whistle, make all sorts of interesting sounds as working with the soul collective field, working with the morphic field of the group. And placing your awareness on your whole body. Feeling the front of the body and the back of the body, the side bodies. Good. And then resting your awareness right in the center of your chest. Right at that heart center. And just notice what you notice. What is the sensations? Is there pressure? Are you like, where is the heart center? I don't even feel anything. Just notice what you notice. Then we're going to ask for the heart center on the physical etheric level. And notice the shift. So you might sense the subtle realms by feeling. You might sense the subtle realms by seeing or hearing, or just knowing a shift has occurred. Just allow the way your intuition and the subtle realms speak to you. So working with the physical etheric realm of the heart center. And with our crown centers, the top of the head unfurled and open, we're letting the light of the divine come in and bring into balance. So working with the physical etheric heart and coming to balance. That's all. It's really simple. Then we're going to work at the emotional level of the heart. Notice what you notice. This is where it can get really contracted on the heart center for folks, and really humanity if we're actually paying attention with what's going on. You know, we put on all these walls and layers sometimes just to cope with the intensity that is present in our world. But just letting yourself feel into the heart center at the emotional level. We're asking for Ray 2, the frequency of Ray 2. We're working with the 7 frequencies of creation. So love, wisdom coming in. Notice how this feels different, the emotional layer of the energy subtle field versus the physical etheric. Let that go, and then letting the awareness still in the center of the chest, still in the heart center for the mental body, the mental subtle energy body of the heart. Does the energy body or the energy field of your heart get contracted, or does it expand when you just ask for the mental body heart? So when we're someone that feels a lot, our emotional body at the heart level will be really expanded, but we have a hard time like letting the balance of the mind and logic come in, then our mental body will be really drawn in on the heart level. And so we're just asking for balance. Letting that light of the divine, or you can say Ray 2, coming into your body, into the field. just working the group layer, the group field at the heart level, the mental body. So just notice what you notice. Good, and then let that go. We're going to ask the heart at the spiritual level, the causal body level, the spiritual causal body level. And then notice what you notice. Can you feel the edges, the layers where the spiritual body field ends? And asking for that divine light coming into the spiritual body of the heart center and bringing balance. And let all that intention go and rest. Just notice how your heart feels. And then imagining your heart as a flower. So you can see this, you can feel it, you can just know it. And asking for the petals of the heart and the layer of the personality. And again, if this feels like it's straining the mental imagination, don't worry about it. You're going to be receiving the healing, whether it's accessible or not. So just light awareness on the petals of the heart on the personality level. And then letting the energy of the divine coming in for balance. A lot of this will be felt just in the energetic. The mind won't really get it at first. Bringing in that ray 2. Notice what happens to those petals on the layer of the personality. And then looking at the petals of the heart center on the layer of self. Notice if another place within the heart center lights up. You might feel a sensation go to the left side or the right side. Or you can just sit back and receive. Looking at the petals of the heart at the layer of the self. And then asking for balance, letting that divine light come in. Guides are coming in more strongly now to help assist. So just notice if you feel any other presences or guides that come up to be with you. You might even be visited by a well ancestor, a beloved grandmother. You know, we carry so much in our hearts from our lineages. Good. And then letting the petals glow, the petals arise in the heart center that have to do with others. Just noticing the petals of the heart that have to do with others. Now this is where you might feel more of a contraction in the heart, or it might feel really expansive. So if we, trust ourselves, but we're not so sure about trusting others, these petals will be more constricted. If we trust what everyone else has to say, but we don't know thyself, then the reverse will be true. So just notice what you notice. The petals of the heart relating to other. Letting that divine light come in and bring to balance. There's been a lot of abuse in someone's life that has to do with other. This is where a lot of this will show up. Just bringing in that ray 2, Archangel Raphael is coming in. So offering some beautiful emerald green energy coming into the layers of the petal that have to do with others. Letting yourself be bathed with that beautiful emerald green energy of healing. Good. Letting that work in the system however it needs to as we let that intention go. And asking for the layers, the petals of the heart that have to do with the layer of soul and spirit. So the spiritual petals of the heart. Now, if you've had many different lifetimes and you're very devoted to your spiritual practice, your spiritual path, these will be nice and open. If it's something that you are kind of like peeking into, these won't be closed, but they haven't quite unfurled yet. Also, simultaneously, if there's been some trauma around living your spiritual truth this lifetime or another's, this is where that trauma can show up in the layer of the heart, when it's like that trust, like trust in the divine, trust in your path. It's not trust in other, it's not trust in self, but like trust in the divine in the heart. This is where that can show up. So just allowing that divine light to come in. Notice what happens when, if anything gets triggered. Just allowing that light to come in. The violet flame actually is coming in now on this one, so not surprising. There's a lot of people probably on this call that had a spiritual practice for a long time and many lifetimes, and this is really where, when we're like, are we really gonna do it again? Here we go. This can get lodged there. So just letting the violet flame, Saint Germain and Lady Portia are coming in. Letting the violet flame, that violet ray, come into the heart center. So straight through the crown, into the heart center, knowing exactly where to go on the layers, the petals of the heart on the spiritual level. intention go, and this beautiful golden flower of life is coming into the space as an offering from the guides in the divine feminine Christ consciousness lineage coming in. So if you feel receiving it, this golden light of the flower of life is coming in to offer its vibration to your heart. Good. Just letting that healing vibration, sacred geometry land right in the center of the chest, going all the way through to the back of the heart too. So imagining also in the back of the heart that beautiful golden flower of life, front of the heart, back of the heart. Good. And then dropping all of that awareness. Just focusing on the breath, the inhalation from the base of the spine all the way to the top of the head. Feeling your body on the earth, feeling grounded, connected into Pachamama, Mother Gaia. And noticing how your heart feels. And taking a deep breath into the front body and the back body. Exhale, maybe sighing. Inhaling again and exhaling. And letting your eyes, soft gaze, slowly open, coming back. Taking your time, periphery vision, soft gaze, so you're not coming back and jumping out, like focusing one pointedly. You just have a soft gaze. And as always, if you need to stay inward, please do so. So that was just touching in on these different layers and a bit of energy work in a short period of time. So be gentle with self. Write down, like if you got images or messages, or if, oh, the layer on the mental level was surprising, this happened. I encourage you to write it down in your journal or a piece of paper right after, because they're like dreams. Sometimes they just like go away. So you think you're going to remember and then you don't. How did that feel for you? Could you feel the different layers of the heart? Could you feel the different responses? If anyone wants to jump in. So I'm seeing some thumbs up, so that's great. So again, like this is just touching in on the layers of the heart, but I wanted to bring awareness that, you know, especially when there's heartache and there's like contraction, you can tune in and see like, what layer is this on? You know, like where am I engaged at? You know, where's this wounding? And that can really, even if you don't know like all the details and all the things, you can just simply rest your awareness and ask for the love and ask for healing to come into that layer. And that really helps to move things quicker than when we just do kind of like a broad, like breathe into your heart or just focus on the heart. When we get to more detailed, that can really help. And yeah, be gentle with yourself. That was a lot in a short time. And yeah, so that is a practice that you can come back to. You can revisit at any time. You can come back. This will be on my YouTube channel. And then tomorrow night we have the webinar tomorrow on your energetic sovereignty, and there'll be a replay. As well as this is the last week to sign up for the 6-month shamanic mystery school, shamanic priestess mystery school. And I'm really excited. There's amazing women from all over the world that have joined. So if you're feeling it, I'm also available for some discovery calls. If you've read through all the information and you feel like you can say yes on these different layers, but you have some questions, then I encourage you to give me a call. You can book a discovery call on my website at carolinepadgett.com. And I won't get into all the mental details right now. Everyone's in a deep space. You can just look at my website. It's all over the place, Shamanic Priestess Mentorship. It's going to be an incredible deep dive of truly life-changing transformation. So I'd love to have you. There's some spaces left, and we begin on Tuesday. But again, I don't want to take you too much out with all the mentalness. So let me know how this has felt. You can put your comments in the comment place. I haven't really come back yet either. You're so welcome. I love being here and being with all of you, and I really appreciate you showing up. You know, there's so many other things you could be doing right now with your time, so I really appreciate it. All right, my loves, I hope this was insightful and that you'll be able to have more specific tools to work with those places of the heart, because, you know, ouch, life can be pretty ouchy. This actually helped. So a lot of you know my cat Rosie died last week, and I just was like a wreck. I was like, fuck this. And I had a lot of reaction and feelings, because I just have had so many losses lately. And it really helped. And I already had planned to do this with the group way before. And so I've been in just like revisiting these different practices each time, we're on Facebook Live, and could see like where it was lodged. And it actually wasn't lodged at the emotional level like I originally thought and was working at it. It was deeply lodged at the spiritual level, because having so many deaths and losses from a son to a cat to dad to another cat, it's just been like so intense these last few years. There was a part of me that really was starting to contract at the spiritual level of trusting in the divine, and trusting in the divine play, and it's like my spiritual life is my work is my spiritual life, right? There's really no gap at this point in what I do in the world, and then also my internal reality. So I was really appreciative to have this time to share with you. It made me go back to these practices and to really work it at a different level. So again, like if you have a sense that someone's saying, oh, at the mental heart there was heaviness, right? That's when we can get into, when that happens, there's just when our belief, so it's a thought, but our belief in love gets contracted. There's a wound there about, can I believe in love? It's not a felt thing. It's not on the emotional, and it's not on the spiritual. It's not about trusting the divine, but it's on, can I believe in this? Can I believe that I can open my heart to myself? Depends on also what layer, like with spirit. So you can just play around and know, and you'll get insight, and you can ask yourself and your soul and ask your guides for more information. So thank you all, and have a wonderful evening. I hope to see you tomorrow night at the Energetic Sovereignty, or if you're feeling it, jump on into the mentorship. I'd love to have you. All right, be well.